Alright, I guess I'll make a YouTube channel then. Hi, I'm Ray. I'm a data scientist about to finish a PhD. I really have no idea what I'm doing with creating a YouTube channel. I'm just kind of winging it. I'm just going to go at it with what I know, which is analyzing data and see where I can get. I might also pull my MBA off the shelf, dust it off, and see maybe it might help me with this too. We'll see. I thought this YouTube channel might be an interesting way for me to model what it's like to do a data science project in real time. I don't know if that'll be interesting to you, but hey, you clicked on this video, so I thought it would be fun to use this YouTube channel that I am making to show what it's like to create a data science project in real time from start to finish. We don't usually get to work on projects from start to finish. We usually only get one small piece, and then another data scientist does another small piece. So it'll be an interesting project for me too. And if you're thinking about going into data science, this will kind of give you an idea of what we do every day. The only real good way to learn data science, in my opinion, is to do data science projects. So if you're interested in doing a data science project and maybe interested in doing a YouTube channel about data science, then you can consider following along with my process, and we can test together to see if it works. I don't recommend doing this as advice to see if you can start a YouTube channel following my advice, because this is not advice. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just winging it and seeing if data can help me make a YouTube channel. Now, data science is science. Well, also math. Yeah, mostly math, but also science. We just, we don't have to go into the lab. We can sit here and work at home in our pajamas if we want to. Well, not pajamas, t-shirt, I guess, is what I'm wearing. But we do science. We rely on research questions, and we make hypotheses, both the null and the alternative, and we try to fail to reject those hypotheses. It's science, just like any other science. So keep that in mind as I move forward with this video. To digest some of this data, I looked at 120 YouTube channels. I know, bummer, right? I had to watch YouTube. And looking at them, I gathered certain metrics about each channel and kind of compiled them into a Excel spreadsheet. Now, my data scientist friends are going to be like, why didn't you use an API to scrape the data? Why did you do that? Well, here's why. Because I'm trying to be relatable. I'm trying to show people a way that they could do this themselves and replicate my data if they want, and writing an API is not it. So I made an Excel spreadsheet. Everyone knows how to use Excel, right? Anyway, these 120 channels are channels that I either subscribe to and like, or they could be channels that make something similar to what I'm qualified to make. Not necessarily what I want to make, but what I'm qualified to make. And I looked at those on purpose. That's not, again, that is not usually how data scientists do things. We usually take a sample that is representative, meaning a portion of the entire population, which in this case is every YouTube video ever made. It should represent, pieces of each of those. But that's not my goal. What my goal is to find out, can I use data to decide whether or not I can make a YouTube channel? So naturally, I would pick a sample that is biased to what I'm qualified to make. So if you're going to use this as a project, I do believe in making my data easily accessible and ready for anybody to reproduce my results, and you can download it from my website. However, better than that, you could create your own data set and look at channels that you like, or maybe channels that make something that you're qualified to make. Again, this is not advice for making a YouTube channel. I just think it would be more interesting for you if you did that. So there are certain things I analyzed with this data. I looked up whether or not each of these channels was using their real name or pseudonym or their company name. Do I use my real name, or do I use my company name? Or do I make up a name? Making up a name sounds fun, except I'm probably not very good at it. And again, research question. Are there any indicators that could show me from the data that I have whether or not I could potentially be successful at creating a YouTube channel? And if there are, how? Are there any indicators that I could use to kind of judge whether or not I'm being successful as a brand new YouTuber? Well, there's subscribers. I don't know if subscribers is necessarily my goal. I'm not out to be famous. That's not my thing. Subscribers is a metric that I can use to show whether or not I am succeeding at other goals, which is to teach people data science and math and, well, anything adjacent to data science. And the only real way that I can see from these other channels without accessing, their data is subscriber count. So that's what I'll use. That's what is available. And we as data scientists, we got to use what we got. Now, we can also look at the production styles of other channels, whether they're using an animation or if they're just a talking head, like this one, talking head, or maybe some other styles. I can just kind of go through them all, see what they're doing, and see if it's something that I can work with. In other words, how much work do I have to do to get you to like and subscribe, right? So here's what I discovered looking at the data. YouTube apparently really loves animations. I am not an artist. I can't do animations, so I'm not going to do animations. I am going to do a talking head. That's what I'm qualified to make. I also learned that people like educational content, but they don't want to feel like they're at school. People don't want to just sit there and take a math class on YouTube, which, I do, but apparently the majority of YouTube does not do YouTube that way. That's great, because I'm not a professor. I don't want to make minimum wage as an adjunct professor. So that's awesome. So again, I analyzed 120 channels. That's not very many, but it's also kind of a lot. And I used channels that I was either interested in or stuff that I was qualified to make. And it looks like from the data sets that the most interesting data to this project will actually be the outliers. No one wants to be an average YouTuber. We want to be the best YouTuber. We want to teach you the best stuff. We want to quit rambling. So it looks like I'll have the best results on zooming in on some of the really successful channels that I was able to figure out from the data, and then just kind of copying their notes a little bit to see if I can communicate as well as them. If you're watching this and you want to try to replicate my results to make your own YouTube channel, again, this is not advice. I have no idea what I'm doing or if this is going to work. It's just a data science project I'm doing on YouTube, about YouTube. Again, this is not advice. This is not how to start a YouTube channel. This is just how to make data about YouTube. I will link my website below in the description and in the pinned comment so that anyone who wants my data can get it. And I will say that the data I include available for download is not going to have the names of the channels. I don't have their permission to publish their channel names, even though this data is available to the public and anyone can get it. I just think it's not appropriate to talk about other people's stuff like that without their permission. However, I do think it's fair to discuss 5 channels that stood out to me as being particularly successful in a short period of time, so that I can kind of get a feel for what it might take to be a successful YouTuber. And I'm sure they won't mind me talking about how great they are, right? Hopefully. So let's talk about the channel I'm Autistic, Now What? I don't know her real name, I don't think she tells us, but she does a lot of content that's very lighthearted and fun. And I actually find it quite funny. She reacts to memes about autism, and she talks about how to be more friendly toward autistic people, how to basically just incorporate autistic people into your life a little better. And I find that extremely helpful. As someone who works in data and math, that we might have some autistic people in here. I don't diagnose people. That's not my job. I'm just saying. Now I can talk about Christy Burt. Also, she does a fantastic job talking about deconstructing religion. And I feel like anybody who is religious or not could watch her channel and get a lot out of it. I really like the way that she's somewhat informational and not confrontational. And I think she's doing a fantastic job of being educational without being in school. So hopefully I can take some advice from her on how to do that. Next, I'll talk about Angela Collier. She's a brilliant physicist. She's been on YouTube for less than 2 years, and very understandable to people who don't maybe even understand physics. I really think that's awesome, that she can communicate that well about her topic. Also, I really enjoy her thumbnails and her titles. I know like most YouTubers try to make thumbnails that are like professional in Photoshop, and hers Hers are not unprofessional, but they're non-professional, and I think that's really cool, and it makes her stand out. If I see her video and I see her thumbnail, I know it's hers, and that's really a skill that I think that she has that a lot of people don't have. All right, so let's talk about Alina Charatzadou. Alina Charatzadou. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm sorry if I'm not. She's a nuclear physicist. Again, I like physics, but she's a nuclear physicist, and I get a kick out of her videos where she reacts to the Simpsons episodes and basically watches Homer do really horrible at managing a nuclear power, or whatever Homer does at the nuclear power plant. And it's quite funny to watch. She's got a good sense of humor, but she also puts out a lot of really cool content about what it's like to work in a nuclear power plant. And I really like her thumbnails. They're all pretty similar. And I think that is another really good skill, is make all of your stuff look similar. I'm going to try to do that with my channel. Last, I'm going to talk about Forrest Valkai. I know, he's a guy. Guys can be YouTubers now. They can even be scientists, you guys. It's 2023. Anyway, guys don't have to be plumbers anymore. He's an evolutionary biologist, and I kind of get the vibe from him that he has built an audience before. I know that he was on TikTok, and so I don't think this is his first rodeo. His stuff is hilarious. It's really funny. And I think he does a really good job at communicating complex topics to people in a way that's approachable and easy to understand. And also, he's so funny. Whatever he has in his coffee in the morning to make him that high energy, I would buy it. So Forrest, whatever you put in your coffee, sell it. So here are some factors that these channels have in common. They're all talking head videos. They all create thumbnails that are clickable. I'm still kind of exploring what that means, but I clicked on them. And it looks like a lot of other people are clicking on them because these channels are growing quickly. So whatever they're doing with their thumbnails, titles, and content, I want to copy. I mean, obviously I can't do physics videos, and I can't do biology videos, and I can't do autism videos, and I can't do deconstructing belief videos, but I can do data science videos, and hopefully I can copy their style and maybe pick up some tips and pointers from them. Also, I really think that these people, these 5 geniuses, are brilliant at creating a community of people who like them. They're so friendly, and honestly, I feel like if I met any of them in person, we could be friends. Hopefully I can human as well as them. Now let's look at some graphs that I created, and you can see just why I'm so excited about this project.